Hello everyone, and welcome back to another anime episodes review. I am the Rat, and this is the Rat's Nest. I'm joined as always by Kyle. Say hi, Kyle.
Hi, everyone.
Today, we are discussing end of an era. It's weird to think that Shibuya is done now. It's been completely animated. It's weird.
Fully. It's a strange feeling. I mean, I remember like months ago when this was first happening, we were like on the hype train, just anticipating one of our favorite shonen arcs getting adapted, and here we are at the very end of it.
Yeah, it's crazy because season 2 started same time Mid-Show did.
Oh my god, it did. Yeah, because it had the 5 episodes and that. Yeah,
inventory.
Mean, Our Child was technically part of season 2. Yeah.
Crazy. It's really, really weird.
And they had a pretty strong ending, I gotta say. It was a strong season throughout, and these last 2 episodes that we're gonna talk about, they were pretty good.
Yeah, lots of stuff has happened. And yeah, today we'll be talking about episodes 11 and 12. Kind of going over them. They're very connected.
11 and 12?
21 or 22 and 23. That's what I said. That's what I said.
Okay. No, I understand.
And we're going to be kind of talking about them a little bit. And we're going to be discussing that here and now, you know?
Yeah.
So, Kyle, what'd you think?
Yeah, picking up... like I said, these were good episodes. Starting right in 22. That left off with... what is it? Mahito just got approached by a good old Kenny boy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to remember the sequence of events. I don't know why I'm just kind of tired.
I'm kind of tired too. We've had ourselves a movie marathon, and then recorded Shield Hero for 50 minutes. So might try to keep this one a little bit briefer, but we'll see. So basically, Mahito and Kenny's talking to Yuji, and then they're yapping on, and then Kenny exercises Mahito and eats him. And then some jobbers show up, try to fight Kenny.
Let's talk about that real quick.
Shows up, fights Kenny. And then Ryomen shows up and then freezes everyone except for Yuji, who frees Chozo. And then they're chilling, but then they get frozen again. But then Yuki shows up and she yaps with Geto for a little bit. And then Kenny and Yuki, and then Kenny leaves, and Miwa is a fraud. That happened a little bit earlier. And then Ryomen is a fraud as well. And then Kenny starts the culling games and unleashes curse spirits on Shibuya. Then we get a long sequence of normal life in Shibuya versus like the government response to it and like their stuff. And then we see Wallahi, I'm finished. Not Wallahi, I'm finished. Just a general sentiment spread around people. We see Yuta comes back. He finally got back from Africa. He said, "Ooh, all the tough people are gone. Now that there's just fodder, it's time for me to shine." He saw his moment, so he came in. He said, "I will kill myself." And then Yuji clapped, and some curse spirits came up, and now we're here, and that's the stuff.
And they just dropped a little thing for the calling games.
Calling games is confirmed. So...
of course it is. Do you really think they're gonna let MAPPA employees see their families
No,
anytime
of course
soon?
not. They're finishing this up now. They've got to work on the Chainsaw Man movie for like 2 weeks and have it done, and then they can start calling games.
No, there's like one other thing that they're doing, right? Like one other anime that they're like in next season that they're doing.
No, I thought they were doing solo leveling, but they're not.
Oh, okay. Well, either way, I wish them the best of luck. But yeah, it's weird. I remember, like, from what I remember of the manga, I have strong memory of it up to the end of the Mahito fight, and then, like, from what I know, it picks up around the time Kinji appears, and then they make a game plan. Like the little, I know what happens after, like whenever Yuta shows up and Aoya shows up. I know like what happens with like Maki and everything. Like I know that stuff's in between, but there was some stuff in the sequence I forgot about, like, you know, like what exactly Kenny did, like where there are two, you know, whenever he took Mahito's powers, he used idle transfiguration, and he used it on two different
anime made it a lot clearer, and I was very grateful for that.
Yes. The first was he's basically reincarnating like sorcerers of the past and then like bringing about new sorcerers of the day.
Yeah, and like I knew that that's what he was doing, but like to have it like spelled out explicitly was
Yeah, it's
nice.
a lot. It was a lot clearer.
It is a complex plan.
Very complex. I mean, I said this. Unlike Demon Slayer, the guy who's been around for like 1,000 years didn't fumble his plans.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He's been simmering on something a while because he said like he made pacts with them throughout history. So he's been waiting to do something like this for a hot minute.
Yeah.
You could say. And then the fighting was really good. I think my favorite part of the fight that they adapted there were two parts. The Jobber Brigade and then Chozo versus Kenny. I am upset with Miwa's man, like, because I didn't realize this until one of the newer chapters in the manga, but yeah, no, that slash there, that was like to use a relevant example for those who've seen Hunter x Hunter, that was like whenever Gon threw it all away and got his thing. Like that was a sacrificial attack that she used on Kenny, where she gave up all of her current capacity and all of her future capacity to wield katana. He just blocks it with his bare hand. He uses Uzumaki point blank on her.
Okay, haha, funny. Like I saw something that I liked where someone looked at it as, look, knowing Kenny, right? And I do love Kenny. I love him a lot.
Yeah.
He very likely could have seen how much Miwa put into that slash and like how serious it was for her and been like, okay, I'll respond in kind. But I think also he had to activate Uzumaki to be able to use Mahito's innate technique.
Well, yeah, I mean he did it, but it was the timing at which he did it was really funny.
Yeah, it was just like whoa. And
then you have Mai shooting a sniper or Kamo with his arrows, and then who's the one that rides the broomstick? I forget her name.
I don't know.
Wheaton Scythe, and Arame just kind of slaps it with his hand. Man, watching the Kyoto school was funny. I will say that. And then Chozo shows up. Can we talk about how good of a character Chozo is for a second here? I really like Chozo, and I think that Greg, of all the stuff that he kind of fumbles later, there's stuff to talk about. I think he consistently handles Chozo very well.
Mm-hmm. No. I love Chozo. I mean, yeah, I'd agree. I think that he's one of the characters that very consistently is done very well. If anything, his low point isn't a him low point. It's just kind of him being involved in the Kenny versus Yuki fight is the only part of his. Well, and even then, that's not so much that, because I think that that's a good fight until the end. I can't really call that anything against him, but I think overall Chozo has done very, very well. And is one of definitely the more developed characters in Jujutsu Kaisen.
Watching him fight is really
watching him get killed by Sukuna is gonna suck.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. And then what is it after that? Yeah, Arame fights, and you know me, big ice fan. I like ice powers a lot, so by default, I have to be an Arame stan. It's not my choice, Brandon. It just is.
No, naturally, I understand.
Yeah, and then Yuki shows up, and then everyone on Twitter is going insane, or was, since that particular moment where she shows up and Yuji looks at her ass. That was the episode 22, right? That was the end of that.
Dude, I love Yuki Tsukumo. I'm glad nothing bad happens to her.
I'm glad she's not a victim of unfortunate writing circumstances.
Yeah, because I think that she's done really, really I think that she's very fun. She's a very fun character.
I mean, she just parallels what Kenjaku wants, where Kenjaku's like, I want to utilize cursed energy to its maximum potential, and she's like, fuck that. I want no cursed energy, none at all. And it's a difference of ideals, an ideologic dispute. And he's like, oh, we're not going to agree, so fuck it, I'm just going to go out with my plans. Whoop. And then he activates it, and he's triggering the Culling games. And then,
what else are you going to do?
And then he summons all of his little cursed spirits, and he dips. And then, we get this isn't a bad thing when I word it like this, but we get a really long sequence of, establishing shots. Would that be the right word for it? Just showing random parts of the city, suburbs, stuff like that, with just like the voices of people talking over it. It's a lot of how everyone is responding to what happened after the Shibuya incident.
Yeah. Basically just
And
getting to
that-
see like everyone's lives, that kind of stuff.
the best part of that sequence is when those two people in the house talking. When I'm just like, was that a movie? And then like you get like the 2 second jump scare of this creature destroying the wall and eating them.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if that happened in the manga. I was just not ready for it.
I'm
And
pretty
then
sure
you
it
know,
did. I think I remember the panels.
and after all this, you know, it's just nice to it's for as weird and quirky and crazy as like the power systems and the fighting get, it's kind of nice to get a little return to form of like, yeah, cursed spirits are pretty creepy and weird because we see that girl in the little department store, and you know the creature is like talking to her, and it's like, hey, like just trying to like get her to come over, and it's like, yeah, you know, your mom, your dad, your brother, your teacher's here, and she's like, I don't have a brother, and I don't like my teacher. It's just like part of this big anglerfish thing. I think the cursed spirit designs, like, you know, not like established characters, but just like the jobber designs, they look great.
I think they're done pretty well. You know,
I hate to use that phrase. I know it's not accurate.
Reg has a good art style.
He does. And then we get the return of Yuta, aka the character with the fastest speed feats.
He does have the fastest feet, bro. Sukuna came back and he immediately hightailed to Africa in half of a chapter. That's crazy.
And then when he heard that all the danger was gone, all the big strong men were gone, he showed up as quick as he left.
That's crazy. I will say Yuta's entrance scene I liked a lot. Obviously you had the girl there chilling, the cursed spirit there chilling. It was scary, bruh.
Rika just domed the thing.
Dude,
I was not ready for that.
What I'm not ready for is, and I can't remember if we get it here, if we get it later. You know, like that one panel of like that one cursed spirit's face?
No.
Yeah, like, I'll send it to you later, but I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for that because I already know Mappa's going to go insane with that because it's creepy enough in the manga with the art, but it's like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for it, but
and
good
then,
to see Yuta again. I did like him.
Is there any like big thing that we're missing from these episodes, or did we cover most of it?
Well, there's one thing that I just remembered, but we're not mentioning, so that's fine.
Oh, okay. And then, I mean, I guess that's kind of it. I guess one question I'd have now for us to talk about is like, what do you think season 3 is going to like generally cover up to, and like how many episodes do you think? Do you think it's going to be another 24 episodes where like the first half is perfect prep, and then the second half goes up through like Kinji's fight, maybe?
I don't know. I mean, they
Or
call it
Maki's?
culling games, so I guess the question is, where do they see culling games end?
Do you think that they're gonna,
from their degree, from their perspective, does culling games end when Gojo is brought back?
because that would cover a lot. I mean, okay, let's think here. Because after you have the perfect prep, you have like the few basic fights, then you have Yuki getting an unfortunate disservice, and then after that, isn't that when like the United States shows up for a little bit there? And okay, so I mean,
Talk with Kenny.
they could, if they, depending on how they play the cards, I mean, if they shortened perfect prep, because I always imagined it like like the fights like Yuji's or Megami's, like those could each fit into like 2 episodes. So if they play their cards right, they very well could just have the ending to it be like Sukuna, and what he does.
I mean, they're calling it the culling games arc, but also Mappa naming arcs seasons doesn't have the best track record, because you did have Attack on Titan the final season part 1, Attack on Titan the final season part 2, Attack on Titan the final season part 3 part 1, and Attack on Titan the final season part 3 part 2.
Is that actually how they're named?
Yeah.
Why didn't they just make it like season 4 and then like then the final season?
Well, because the final season is more marketable.
I guess if you use it overnight. But anyway,
so Mappa could absolutely retroactively add culling games part 1, part 2.
I mean, if they did that, I think that would be fine. It's just, perfect, like the perfect prep, I don't think would take that long necessarily. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they could fit it in 24 episodes, but how many chapters would that be? Because
I have no clue.
Shibuya covers up to like, I'm just gonna pull up like a random chapter. Shibuya I know covers up through like 130 here. I'm just gonna like randomly click on 130 and then go like skip a few and see. 130 is the one where Mahito gets instant spirit body of disordered killing.
Mm-hmm.
So it probably around 140 is where their fight starts, Yuta's and Yuji's. So if they did like 60 chapters, that brings us to yes. Okay, yeah. So if they covered like 70 chapters in 24 episodes, that's about, I did the math. That's like rounding up to 3 chapters an episode. They could do that.
No, absolutely they could. I just hope they give themselves enough time to do it. They won't.
No, because I mean, yeah, we're probably gonna have another like scare again with like remember around like the Maharaga episode when all hell broke loose there.
Hey, you know what? We made it through though. We got the whole season.
I know. It's just
Yippee.
I really wish that like they would just halt I don't care, right? If this took like 5 years, whatever, like give them the time that they need. I just hate that feeling of like, oh, it's gonna be like rushed,
Mm-hmm.
I don't wish that upon the animators. Animation in Japan especially is already hard enough industry, so we talked about it already. I won't too much detail, but yeah, I'm excited for Cooling Games. I've heard some people say that they think it's better than Shibuya. I don't know. I mean, I like both a lot, and for many different reasons.
I mean, I prefer Shibuya like a lot. No offense to Cooling Games though. It's just my love of Shibuya is a lot more.
It's one of those where it's like Cooling Games isn't bad. It's just one is Shibuya.
Yeah, like it's not really a fair comparison.
It's one of those arcs.
The Cooling Games is absolutely awesome. And
it's great. Fantastic.
It's really, I mean, because it's just Shibuya, Cooling Games, and then the arc we're in now, which I don't know what to call it.
Man, Jujutsu Kaisen really isn't that long when you think about it. I mean, you have all the stuff in season 1, and then you have the flashback. Then you have Shibuya, you have Cooling Games, and now like we're basically in the finale. It's not that long.
I mean, Bleach just has 5 arcs.
Don't you? God, the fact that Aaron Carr is almost as long as all of Jujutsu. Oh my god. Sorry, I'm getting flashbacks to when I read through all of Aaron Carr.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to say, Kyle?
I would call this a pretty good 10 out of 10 season. I don't know. Just they did a great job.
I'll give it a solid 9 out of 10.
What's the 1 point off? Is it
Mappa.
a Dagon episode? What?
Mappa.
Map. You know what? That's fair.
Content 10 out of 10.
Okay, no, you're right. The content is, but yeah.
Season I have to rank a 9 out of 10.
I will agree with that. I would gentleman's to that.
Alrighty, well, if you guys are this far in the video, then obviously there's something you like. So make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment telling us what you thought about this season. Thank you all for watching. We certainly hope you all enjoyed, and we will see you all next season, which will be covering solo leveling weekly, and only solo leveling. So help me. Bye-bye.
Bye.